Viktor Gyokeres is the one that we keep hearing a lot about. There was a lot of talk, that we were looking at him in the summer. He had that fantastic season last year where I think he was 38 goals he got or something like that. He was the top goal scorer in Europe in his league, in the leagues. And I think there was a lot of clubs that looked at it. It's a high price tag and thought to himself, right, you've done it in one season in the Portuguese league. Let's, we need a bigger sample size. He's doing it again, isn't he?
Yeah, he's hit the ground running. He's definitely destined for a move. But January, the thing about Portuguese club, they will sell if they get the right price, whatever month it is, they don't mind. But it's the right price to them, and we've seen massive transfer fees go that way, and very little come back to this league in terms of performances and quality. But you've got to take these risks. You said with Kudus, we can't get him in January. I struggle to see, unless we're serious about getting someone really tangible in January.
You go in then, say in January, and say, it'd be a lot of money, right? But there's even been rumors that City are interested in Gyokeres now. Would you say all right, if it's 80 million, say for instance, go and get it done? Because wasn't his release clause about 80 million, wasn't it? So would you, if that release clause still exists, would you go in and say, right, we want to win the league, 80 million, let's do it?
Yeah. I think that's, you'd expect us to be in and around the conversation in January. By that, I mean either first, second, or with the way Liverpool are third, and it's tight. And if it's tight, you're going to want that injection of something. And if that injection of something is an 80 million striker signing coming in who's been banging goals in another European league, then it not only adds a certain level of quality to the team that we don't have in that profile, but it also galvanizes the rest of the players around. It also galvanizes the fans. I mean, it just does so much for a club. The signing doesn't just come in and improve what it is on the pitch. The signing comes in and just gives everything a big push, whether it's the summer or January. So I've looked and I've watched other clubs do the necessary business in January when they're on course for something. It's rare, but I've seen clubs do it. We've been without a title for 21 years, Rob. So in January, if that light is at the end of the tunnel and we know we're a bit light and we need to get someone in, I don't care if the 80 million is on Gyokeres or if the 80 million is on a midfielder or a defender, whatever we need in January, it's likely to be an attacker. Let's do it. Let's try get over this line. Let's take the risk we need to take, because whether you take the risk or not, you might still not win the Premier League. But how many years have we failed to take the risk and come at the back end hoping for another transfer window in the summer and win it the next season? Let's do it. We're going to need something in January without a doubt. Whether that's a striker or a forward, I don't know yet. Hopefully Havertz continues his reign up top, because he's been very good this 2024 calendar year. But regardless of if he keeps it up or not, I still think a different profile of striker. Gyokeres would be perfect. 80 million, cool, do it. But to some, it'll be like, what, 80 million? He's not worth it. It's Portuguese league. Look at this, look at that. But we can do this for every signing out there, bar maybe a handful.
I think if the way he's going at the moment, he's like, as I said, you could argue that the first season, all right, Portuguese, but listen, he's doing it again. He's doing it again, man. And to me, like, and even I've spoken to some Portuguese fans, and they're like, hey, this guy's the real deal. I've spoken to Swedish fans who reckon that he's better than he's better than Isak. So he's I hear what you're saying on that. I'm just trying to what with the Gyokeres one, I'm kind of listen, that could be the sort of signing you brought in January that could get you over the line, but it'd be very expensive. They probably want, if there's a release clause, there's a release clause, right? And we do know that Gyokeres, if you listen to some of his comments after the transfer window closed, he sounded like a player that was a little bit upset that he didn't get that move, because he was talking about the fact that he'd been priced out of a move by Sporting. They didn't, they weren't dropping off of that release clause, and that's why he didn't go.
You can. I mean, when you see your name touted as much as his name was touted over the summer with various clubs, I guess there's a certain level of ambition, optimism that comes off the back of it, and when it falls through, It's on to the next one. And I know the interview you're talking about, some of the things he said, and you can tell that, he wanted something and it wasn't to happen, but you can also see and tell that he's put his head down. It's time to get to work again. He started the season in great fashion. He ain't licking wounds or feeling sorry for himself. That's a great mentality. I didn't get my move this summer. I'm going to get it in the next window or next summer, one or the other. So
yeah,
Jesus, so mad.
What? That's an interesting one there. Imodin, he says Gyokeres wouldn't start ahead of Havertz anyway. Would he? Would he not start? Would he? He probably wouldn't,
It's up to him whoever comes in. It's up to the person to take it. Unless we there's no
£80 million on a player that don't start.
Yeah, Havertz was 65, so he would have to take it. But I'm confident a proper striker comes in and makes it their own. That's not me saying Havertz strictly goes to the bench. Maybe Mikel finds a job for him somewhere else, because I didn't see him as a striker, and Mikel brought him in as a midfielder. So maybe a striker comes in and Havertz is not only backup striker, but he's also our number 8 or whatever. I don't know. All I'm saying is, in the striker department, we can do more, have more depth.